Hi guys, just emptied this pop bottle and I was going to throw it out, and then I thought, yeah, time to do another rubber band powered car. I did one with a pop bottle years ago, so it'll be virtually the same this time, for the benefit of those people who haven't been watching my videos since 2013. If we look closely at this, oh hang on, I'll just lock the focus. Right, hopefully we should stay in focus. Right, if you look closely at the bottle, there's a seam along here, camera probably won't pick it up, from the moulding process, and then there's a seam down there. So I'm just going to make a mark where the seam crosses, and then on the other side we've got exactly the same situation. We've got the seam all the way down here, so if we make our axle hole there, it will be parallel. The only problem is we don't have the same seam going round at this end. We've still got the seam coming up, so if we measure whatever measurement you want to use, as long as you use the same measurement at both ends, so you go along this seam and you put a mark in and you go, that's actually 8.5 inches, but it's completely irrelevant. You do it whatever you want, as long as you do the same position on both sides. So that's where our axles are going to go through. For axles we're going to use good old bamboo barbecue sticks or skewers. For wheels we're going to use CDs. I've got plastic milk bottle tops on there that I've already taped in place, but what I'll do is I'll insert a bit of a video where I actually show you how to do that. So we'll probably have a bit of a jump scene just here. Now we want to play with these CDs. Milk bottle top. These particular ones have got a little dimple in the middle, so you know exactly where the middle is. And if your CD's got a bit of a ridge round the middle, you might find, like in this case, the bottle top actually lines up with that ridge. What we're going to try and do is get the tape right across it. If you've watched lots of my videos, you'll know that I prefer to use hot glue, but we'll do this all with sticky tape. That's one side. Moves around a tiny bit, but I think that'll be fine. Right, I'll do that for the other 3 wheels. There we go. 4 CDs with plastic milk bottle tops as the hubs. Now, we need to push a hole through the middle of each of those. Depending on how strong your barbecue skewers are, you might be able to push them straight through. If they're not strong enough, you might need to get a small screwdriver or something to make the hole. I happen to have a Bradall, or Bradall, B-R-A-D-A-W-L. It's just a spiky tool, metal spike. Remember, these bottle tops have got a little dimple in the middle, so we know where the middle is. So we should be able to push that through there. So that's our wheels. We're going to put a hole at the front here to put a rubber band through. So that'll go through and it'll connect to the axle at the back. But obviously if it's inside the bottle you can't actually reach it. So what we'll do is we'll cut the top of the bottle out. It just needs to be a hole big enough for you to be able to get your hands in there to connect the rubber band to the back axle. So I'm just going to draw a line along here and a similar line along there. You can cut it square or you can put a nice curve on it, whatever's easiest for you to cut. And then cut all of that out so you can actually reach inside. The other thing I'm going to do is at this end I'm going to put a hole in about here somewhere, and that's where we're going to poke the rubber band through. The free end of the rubber band we can just put around the neck here and that will hold it in place. Now to make the holes have to be nice and big so that the barbecue skewers spin in them freely. You can drill a hole, you can use a pointy implement like this. I've got a nail on a stick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and heat that up in a gas flame and push it through. That's why I've got it on a stick, so I don't actually have to get hold of it when it's red hot. Now there will be fumes from heating this up. If you actually catch fire to it, then you get a lot more fumes, but if you're just melting it, you shouldn't get too many fumes. The only problem is if I'm heating that up, I don't want to hold that over the top, so we might have a problem seeing what I'm doing. I'll have to do it over there. I'm just looking at the camera to see if it'll be in shot. I'll put the fan on so it's going to be noisy. It doesn't actually need to be red hot or anything, but I will heat it up so it works quickly. See if that's hot enough. Okay, that's our hole. Now, to make the cutting the slot easier, I'm going to put some holes in each corner of where the slot will be. Now remember, that's still hot, so I'm going to put that in cold water. Right, we want to cut the slot out. So you can either use scissors if you've made those holes big enough, or I'm just going to use a sharp knife. So we can get inside now. You might find it an advantage to put some little spacers in between the wheels and the body, just to make sure the wheels don't rub up against the bodywork. I'm just going to leave a bit of a gap. So that's the basics done. Right, you need enough rubber bands to get from the front to the back. Probably don't need all of these. Poke it through that hole. And over the front. Now to wind it up, you could glue a little peg on there. Exaggerating, this is too long, but you could glue it on there T-shaped, and that makes it easier to connect your rubber band. Or you just hold the rubber band in place, I'll show here, so it wraps over itself like that, and then you can wind it up. So that's what I'm going to do just here. Over itself, and that's holding itself in place. Right, one thing I've just noticed doing that, this barbecue skewer is a little bit thinner than that one. That one's a good tight fit on the wheels. This one is a little bit loose on that wheel. And that's no good at all. So you've got a choice. You can swap them over, or you could try wrapping a bit of tape round there to thicken it up, where it's actually going through those holes. All it is those holes have expanded a bit, because I've used this before. But I'm going to try wrapping a little bit of tape on there just to thicken that up. So it's easy to see what I'm doing. I'm using some white tape here. I'm not quite sure how well that'll grip. We'll give it a try. Just make it a little bit thicker, so it jams on there. Or you could glue them in place. I usually glue them in place. But I'm trying to make this particular video without using any glue, you may have noticed. Right, let's see how that does. Not perfect, but it's tightened it a bit. I would think gluing it would be a better option, but we'll live with that. Right, one thing we might get is wheel spin. In fact, I'll just let some of that go so it's not too powerful the first time. Well, that'll do. That's just short of 8 meters. So happy with that. If you do want more power, then you'll probably want to put rubber tyres on the CDs. So in the video description there'll be a link to my video on how to put rubber tyres on CDs. The way I use is I cut up rubber gloves, so we get a a band or a ring of rubber and stretch it over the wheels. Works better for me than trying to put rubber bands around the wheels. So have a look in the video description and that'll show you how to do it.
Hey, thanks for watching. There's plenty of videos on my main channel with more added daily, so don't forget to subscribe and enable the notifications to keep you up to date with my new releases. You can help keep my channel running by donating $1 on Patreon to buy me coffee. You can always find more information in the video description. Thanks again for watching.